Welcome to the second part of What is CRM, a series of one-on-one videos about CRM. If you haven't seen the first part, I strongly advise you to do so. I'll put the link in the description and somewhere here on the screen. In this video, I will go through CRM fundamentals, universally applicable rules, or rather say elements of CRM that will help you understand CRM much better. Then I will touch two different approaches for CRM, which would bring us to implementation strategies. And finally, I'll talk about choosing the right solution. Oh, but before we jump into the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm only starting here on YouTube and I need to get to that first 1,000 subscribers so that YouTube algorithms start recommending my videos. But let's jump to the video. Every CRM, every CRM system in the world works on the same basic principles. It stores data, grants you ergonomic access to it through well-designed screens, and enables you to report on this data. And it consists of four elements. These elements are entities, fields, relations, and records. I know it is an oversimplification in a sense, but it gives you the level of abstraction that could enable you to look at the systems that are on the market through your own prism. Now let's jump into each one separately. First, let's start with fields. Fields are just like Excel cells. You can name your column first name, and then all the cells below in the same column should contain first names. You could name it phone numbers, and all cells below in the column will contain a phone number. The only difference with Excel is that CRM would store data in a specific format. If the field should contain a number, it will not allow you to store name in it. Because it's a database, you can only store specific types of data in a specific field types. There is a limited number of types of fields, but the combination of these fields lead us to entities. Entities are abstractions that represent real phenomena like people or companies. For example, you want to store contact details. How do you know that fields are related to contacts? You would group them by entities. Some vendors like Salesforce call it objects, but it doesn't matter. Accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, quotes, these all are entities. They all have different set of fields under them. This is how you organize your data in the system so that you could differentiate between types of data. Next, relations. CRM allows you linking objects with each other. Imagine you want to store orders. How do you know orders are linked to a specific client? You create a relation with client entity. Well, in CRMs, usually a client is represented with account entity, so I will use account to relate to clients. Relations are often just another field on the screen. They look very similar to other fields. The only difference is that you will choose from the list of existing records that are stored in a different object. Finally, when you know that there are fields, entities, and relations, it's time to learn about records. Fields, entities, and relations together create so-called data model. It's a skeleton of your information system, your client database. Yet you still need to fill the system with information. To fill the system with information, you create records. Every time you create a client, you create account record. Every time you want to register business opportunity, you guessed it, you create opportunity record and link it to account record. You type in all necessary information about opportunity in various fields. For example, you type in amount in currency field, close date in date field, and you select existing account record to fill in account fields. Now you can create reports. And thanks to relations, you can make those reports sophisticated. You can pull all accounts with won opportunities for the last 6 months, for example. Or you could pull out all accounts that bought certain product. At this point, you may be wondering, why do I need to know that? Well, that's because various vendors are trying to differentiate their products from others, which makes it hard to compare one with another. Knowing basics of data models, you can get a better and faster idea of what each CRM is about. Which leads us to our next topic, choosing the right CRM for you. There is a catch though. There are around 3,000 CRM systems on the market, and choosing the right one is very hard. Unfortunately, I couldn't give you any specific recommendations on any particular software. But what I can do instead is give you some context, which in turn will help you make your decision. There are two large non-scientific categories of CRMs. These are my own groups, and I have invented them just to make life easier. There are platforms and niche CRMs. Platforms are non-specialized CRM systems that could be heavily customized and could theoretically be your one-stop shop for all the business processes in one software. Niche CRMs, on the other hand, are CRMs that focus on one use case or industry. For example, CRMs for dealers would focus on dealerships, or CRMs for plumbers would focus on plumbers, and so on. But let's talk about them one by one. Platforms are like Lego blocks. You can purchase platform CRM like Salesforce, Zoho CRM, Oracle, or SAP and configure to your needs. Now, let's start with pros of platforms. And first, versatility. Ability to use one system for all the processes and potentially cover your whole business with one tool. Second is license costs, or less licenses to purchase. If your process is sophisticated, you may save a lot of money on licensing in theory. And third, expert availability. Bigger pool of professionals who knows the platform, so it will be easier to hire a consultant or developer who could give you an advice on the platform. Now let's talk about cons of the platforms. And first, longer implementation. Platforms are almost always more complicated, which translates into longer implementation cycles. Second, steep learning curve. With platforms, flexibility is powerful but requires careful planning. Unlike smaller systems that limit customization, platforms demand clear design from the start to avoid costly missteps. It's like building a custom house versus buying a pre-built one. The custom option offers freedom, but only if it is well designed from the very beginning. Now, third is costly implementation. While you can save a lot of money on licenses, you may require to hire an expensive specialist to implement the system. Platforms are great for established businesses and startups, or they could help you in cases when you approach your industry in a very unique way and your business processes are very different from your competitors or similar companies on the market. So in case you would use niche CRM, it would not fit your business processes. Generally, with the right approach, platforms could fit any company, but they require knowledge and a lot of attention to detail. Next, niche CRMs. Niche CRMs are specialized tools designed for specific industries like videography, legal, plumbing, construction, and so on. They come with built-in processes that are tailored to those industries. Now, let's start with the pros of niche CRMs. First, they are quick and inexpensive. Ready-to-made processes mean faster and cheaper implementations. They don't need specialized knowledge, and you could start using CRM literally within weeks or sometimes even days of the purchase. Second, niche CRMs follow best practices. Often you could even learn how other companies in your industry or niche work by applying standard processes from the CRM. Third, it's quick adoption. Such systems tend to have more simple user interface that allow you for quicker training of users, and sometimes they're so intuitive that learning is not even necessary. Now let's go through the cons. And the only con I couldn't find is their limited customization, which may become restrictive as your business grows or if you deliver unique services. Companies often outgrow the systems moving to platforms, and that could be very costly process. Finally, I have to touch a hybrid setups. It's when a niche CRM is built on platform like Salesforce, blending the best and worst of both worlds. These systems offer out-of-the-box functionality typical of niche solution, but are built within a larger ecosystem. The most common platform for this hybrid CRMs is Salesforce, where solution providers develop industry-specific tools within Salesforce environment. Now, let's start with the pros of hybrid CRMs. And the first, they are flexible yet ready to use. They combine ready-made industry processes with the flexibility of a platform. I'm specialized with Salesforce, so I'm mostly describing Salesforce use cases where you could purchase pre-built CRM and later customize it. However, customizations are often limited. It really depends on the vendor. Considering this is a platform-based solution, it brings us to second pro of a hybrid setup, and it is future-proof. Such setups secure you from necessity to migrate to the platform CRM in the future, while enabling you to use pre-built features now. However, hybrid systems come with few serious drawbacks, and the first one is licensing cost. It requires so-called dual licensing, one from the solution provider and one from the platform like Salesforce. While it enables you to start using pre-built CRM relatively quickly, since you don't have to pay for the customization in the long run, this could end up to be more costly solution. And honestly, most of the time it's too expensive, which leads us to the next disadvantage, and it's complexity. Hybrid CRMs inherit complexity from both niche systems and platforms, which may increase setup time and costs and basically level out all the benefits and make solution not worth it. At this point, you may be asking, which one would I recommend? Well, I would say it all depends. It depends on your business, depends on your industry, your digital maturity, number of employees, your business process, available budget, and skills within a company, and a number of other factors. Now, let's move to our next topic, which is approach to your digital strategy. That would dictate which CRM you would choose. I should say that it's a debated topic. Should you first choose your approach and then find a product that fits your approach, or should you base your approach to the product? In any case, if you are only choosing the solution, you will have to make that decision at one point. And the first approach involves using a separate app for each specific task. One tool for invoicing, another for tracking opportunities, another for managing expenses, and so on. Take invoicing, for example. At Monthly, which is my company and sponsor of today's video, we don't rely on complex accounting software. Instead, we use software to send invoices to our customers and track whether they are paying on time or not, and send reminders if the payment is overdue. For lead tracking, for example, we use Salesforce. To log billable hours, we use Harvest app. For each specific need, we use a standalone app. The reason is simple. We're a small company, and it's easier for us to choose specialized tools that do one job at a time. When it comes to invoicing, we look for an app that's straightforward and focused on invoicing only. We don't have the budget to customize complex software, and frankly, there is no business justification for it. There is one trade-off, however. We don't have a single place where all our business transactions are visible. If a payment is overdue on an invoice, our CRM wouldn't be aware of it. So theoretically, someone working with the customer with an overdue invoice might offer new services without knowing there is an outstanding payment. But we're okay with that. And do you know why? Because we are a small company and everyone knows each client. It's simply impossible for someone to work with one of my clients without me being aware of it. And vice versa. I couldn't contact someone's client silently without account owner knowing that. We made that decision because it was best for our company. And if you need a little help with making decisions and choosing the right approach for your business, make sure to talk to my team at Monthly. At Monthly, we are a team of CRM professionals, and we will help you build your CRM strategy that is future-proof and is best suited for your business. Click on the link in the description below and let's start a conversation. Now, back to the video. I have given the name for this approach when you have multiple different services for various types of tasks. I call it a microservice approach. Honestly, I borrowed that name from the software development terminology, but it really describes well what it does. You actually have multiple small services, everyone doing one job. They could be connected with each other or may not be connected with each other. If you want to connect all them together, that may be a costly project. And to overcome this issue of services being interconnected and exchange data between each other, there is another approach, which I call a monoservice. In this approach, you build your CRM on a single integrated system that handles most, if not all, tasks in one place. Everything I said about microservices here is just the opposite. You build everything on a single platform. It's costly, takes a lot of time, but it's worth it if you need to have information about your clients all in one place, which leads us to final topic of today's video, implementation. There are two main pillars that I want you to remember. These are two pillars that unfortunately lead to a massive failure rates. As a matter of fact, 80% of CRMs fail, sometimes even more, and these are not my words. These are results of multiple studies, and honestly, they pretty much align with my own observations. But I have some good news. There are few very simple things you can do to increase your chances for success by orders of magnitude. And the first thing is standardization. If you want your CRM software implementation to succeed, you will have to standardize your business processes. That means that you will likely have to sacrifice some of the ways in which you are working with your clients. Now, the challenge here is that we all are humans and we all have our own ways of dealing with clients, even if we work for the same company. Every employee is doing it slightly differently. You will have to standardize your way of working with clients by finding the right combination of entities, fields, and relations that best describe your relations with clients. Later, you will have to communicate this standard to your employees and convince them that this is the best way to approach customers. It's a very lengthy and complex topic, which I don't want to dive into now. Just remember, get prepared to standardize your process. Get prepared to giving up some custom services you provide to your customers. And get prepared to even firing few of your clients if they would not fit into that new system. You will have to do all that for the sake of scalability. That takes time, a lot of time. And to give yourself time, you have to find your CRM implementation pace. Some companies are capable of consuming large and complex systems very quickly. Others need more time to learn. Very few companies like Amazon or Google are capable of massive digital transformations very quickly. But most Main Street businesses are not capable of digesting large and complex systems. You have to go small, which leads us to our next topic. To implement the CRM, you have to learn a very important skill. It's called agility, or I'd better say ability to iterate. There is a simple recipe for any CRM implementation, big or small. Just make sure you implement it right. First, define absolute minimum that would be enough to launch. It's called MVP, minimum viable product. Make it as small as possible. Ideally, at the launch, you should be tracking maximum of 7 or 10 fields. Depends on your process, of course. There is no one-size-fits-all recipe, but keep it ultra lean. Second, implement routines. Make what you have implemented your everyday. Track progress of what you have implemented. Make use of the product for a couple of months, which leads us to number 3, create a backlog. It's a list of features or changes based on your knowledge after owning CRM for some time. Apply same principles as in the first point. Make it as lean as possible. Don't be afraid to go to extremes. You would only benefit from that. And 4, repeat the process. Simple as that, yet surprisingly hard to implement. Thanks for watching this far. I did my best to immerse you in the world of CRM with simple words. I hope I succeeded, but you are the judge. Let's quickly summarize what we discussed today. Now, we discussed that every CRM in the world is built on 4 pillars: fields, entities, relations, and records. We discussed that there are niche CRMs and platform CRMs, which could dictate your approach to your digital strategy, where you could have one software to cover all your needs or use multiple software solutions to cover the same needs. And finally, we discussed that it's very important to learn how to be agile and lean in your implementation, not to burn your budgets and not fail with your CRM. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit like if you like this video, and see you in the next one. Cheers.